Yo, what's up, Chris? Welcome back to the channel. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back, welcome back. Ooh, I've been meaning to do this video for a while, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of lazy, like anybody else. We're human. What are you gonna do? I had some free time today and I thought, you know what better way to go about my Saturday than editing a video for you guys. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how I personally edit my Lightroom photos for my automotive photography. I'm gonna go ahead and say this before I continue the video. Again, this is how I personally edit my photos to my liking. I understand there may be a bunch of different ways to edit the photo. You know, people may not like the way I edit my photos, the way I do certain things and all that. But again, this is to my personal liking. This is all to my preferences and how I like to create my own art. I just don't want to have people being like, bro, that's not how you edit the photo, bro. That's not how you do this, bro. That's not how you do it. I don't give a fuck. Not to be a dick, I just don't care. These are all my personal preferences on what I like to do to my art, on my photography, on anything I like to do. It's all because it's how I like to do it. I went ahead and chose two photos of my S2000 that I took the other day of it. I chose two different angles just so you guys can see the two different editing styles that I have with the different angles that I've taken. I have 3 presets that I customly made. I'm gonna go ahead and use 2 of them just today so you guys can see how I personally tweak them, put them on photos, all that kind of good stuff right there. For the most part, for my editing, it doesn't really take that long time. If it's for a client, yes, I'll spend more time editing and getting all the nitty gritty stuff out of the way. But when it comes to just taking my photos and wanting to slap it on Instagram or Twitter and stuff like that, it takes little to no time. All right, enough of me talking. Let's hop into Lightroom and let's get into editing. So go ahead and click record screen. Boom, I think I did it. All right, so you guys can see everything right now. Currently editing on my MacBook. I'm actually surprised that it's not overheating right now. Usually this thing sounds like a fighter engine. Like not even like 5 minutes into editing, it'll be like, like it's bad. Even when I edit my videos on Premiere Pro, dude, sometimes it'll be like it sounds like fucking World War VII of this shit. So there's my first photo I'm gonna go ahead and use. Yes, for most of you that don't know on this channel, I do have a bagged Honda S2000. Love this bitch to death, so beautiful. I took these photos in Windsor, California. If any of you guys are in Northern California, know what that is. Found a nice little spot to take these photos at. So first thing I'm gonna do, guys, is slap my preset on here. Most people like to start editing with all the basic tabs right here, but I like just going into my presets. Basically, when I go into taking my photos, I already know like how underexposed or overexposed I want the photos to be. And then when I go back into post, I kind of know which preset I'm gonna use to add to the photo itself. So I already have the settings dialed in. So for this one, we are going to use one of my favorite ones. Which one is it? We're gonna go ahead and use Sunkissed. I have 3: Sunkissed, Oats, and where's the other one? Feeling Green has been one of my favorite ones I've been using. It's a light green tint, but for this photo, we're gonna go ahead and use Sunkissed. So first things first, I like to tweak around the exposure, get the lighting nice and set. Again, with my presets, you don't really have to play with them that much. The biggest things you want to play with are the exposure, the shadowings, and the highlights. Shadows, we're gonna bump those up a little bit to get the colors on the car popping a little more. That's already looking pretty good. Next thing we're gonna do is come all the way down to enable profile corrections. This is really good for whatever camera you use. This helps enable the correct corrections to the photo itself. So since I do have a Sony a7 III and I was using my Sigma Art 35mm, Lightroom is gonna go ahead and use its automated editing style to fucking correct any type of imbalances. So as you can see, it like brought up the car a little more, so that's good right there. Liking that so far. Next thing we're gonna wanna do, I'm actually liking that so far. Again, my editing style is pretty simple. It's nothing crazy. I like the shadows, exposure is pretty cool. Bring that down a little bit, contrast, right around there. I'm liking it, okay. So what I like to do next, guys, is I'll grab this little brush tool right here and basically bring that down so I can see it. I just brush the whole floor. It's gonna be funny to most of y'all. There's probably an easier way of how to do this, but for me, I usually brush the whole floor first. You guys will see why in a second. Is bump up the clarity. So I like to bring the ground out when I do my automotive photography. You guys will see right about now. Go to clarity. I usually like to go around like 10. You don't need to, maybe 10 to 15. You don't need to go more than 20. That just looks fucking weird. You know, we'll go 20. Fuck it. Alright, so go 20. Bring down the exposure a little bit. Highlights a little bit. You can see it just brings the ground up more, and it just adds more like blah to your photo, you know what I mean? So that's just personally one of the things I like to do. Again, there's probably an easier way of how to do it, but for me, this is just how I personally do it. It works for me. It's been working for me. So there's probably an easier way, but that's how I do it. Next thing that I've really been doing a lot, I'll go ahead and add this. I forget what it's called right now. Bring this over to right here. Let's see. There, cool. What I usually do if I have like a lot of brush or trees or anything like that, I like to bring the clarity down a little bit. It kind of gives it that like hazy, dreamy kind of look. So I'll go ahead and bring that down to around like 10. I don't know, that's just what I like to do. And then also I'll bring up the exposure a little bit. Something like that. Tweak the highlights a little bit. Shadowing to show some of the trees. Yeah, we'll go like that. We'll leave it at -4. Next, I will grab this again. Bring this right around here. Depending on the photo, sometimes I'll come in at an angle or sometimes I'll come in straight, but we'll bring that like right around there. Play with the contrast. Let's bring this up a little more. Midway, like right there. Bring that lower line down. That's like all the darks. Poof. Play with the exposure till you get it nice and right. I don't really like it when it's super dark at the bottom. I kind of like that light, dark to mid-gray to like lighter kind of vibe. So if it's just like a pure black to a fucking like midway grayish type of shadowing, it just, to my personal opinion, it looks freaking weird. Bring this down a little more. Cool, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how I like my photo right there. It's all set. Last thing I will do is bring down my clarity on my presence right here a little bit. I have my sharpness already enabled to where you don't really need that much clarity put into these images. Where's the sharpness? Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much already set right there. I already have it set to how I personally like it, but that's already looking baller right there. Look at that. Shoo! That looks fucking sick, my guy. Cool. As you guys can see, the reason why I put those two horizon, I forget the terminology right now, but those two horizon boxes things, I forget what you call them. I like to go for like a dark, light kind of contrasty thing, you know what I'm saying? So like you can see the light from up here, the dark from right here. It just, I don't know. It helps for me personally, like put the subject, which is the car in this instance, in the middle, and then you're basically focused on the car because you're seeing like a dark landscape or a dark angle and a light angle hit, and then the car in the middle is like the cherry on top, dude. You're like, whoa, look at that, dude. It looks like a, what? You know what I'm saying? So that is good for photo number 1. All right, so that was a vertical photo. Next, we're gonna do a horizontal photo. This is my 2000 looking like a fucking beast right here. Okay. Okay. So for this one, we're gonna use one of my favorite presets that I've been using in a lot of my photos. This is Feeling Green. Boom. That just adds like a nice green tint to your photo, and if you have a red car, yellow, black is even awesome, but especially with red vehicles, like this preset just kills it, dude. It adds such a moody feeling, and it just looks so it looks so sick, dude. So the first thing I would do when coming to this and slapping on this preset is play with the exposure. So the first thing I always do is play with the exposure. I already like the shadowing, that's good. Highlights are pretty much set to where I like them to be. Contrast is good. Clarity's down, I like that. I usually bring my clarity down because I personally don't like when a photo has over like 20 plus 20 clarity. I just feel like it really distorts the image. And if you add it to Instagram or anything like that, Instagram just compresses the hell out of your photos. So if you have that clarity like bumped up all the way, it makes it look just weird and all grainy and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. I've been through it a lot and I've been experimenting a lot. So I just, for my personal preferences, I don't add clarity. I always bring it down to give it like that moody, just dreamy type of vibe. That's just how I personally like my photos. Next, you can play with the S curve right here. I already have mine all set up. Bring these shadows up on that a little bit. You can bring the mids down right there. Pop the highlights up a little bit. Yeah. That's already looking real good. Let's go down to move chromatic operation. Always edit profile corrections. Looking real good. Now that you do that, go all the way back up here. Play with that again. Boom, boom. Cool, I'm liking it. Next, we're gonna go ahead and grab this up. Again, give it that overlay on top. We're gonna go ahead and do that dreamy look again. So take off the exposure, bring down the clarity down to like, I would say for this one, since it's really overexposed, I'd bring it down to like 6. That'd be good. You don't wanna go too much, that'd look kind of weird. Play with the highlights a little more, bring them down. You can see that right here is really being blown out. So we're gonna bring down the highlights just a little bit. There we go. Contrast, exposure, poof. Damn, that's already looking tits, dude, goddamn. All right, bet. So once that's all taken care of, I already like that's looking pretty good. I like that. We're gonna go ahead and grab the brush tool again and do what I showed you guys. Pop up clarity, let's see, we'll look around 20. Boom, that's looking baller. Contrast. Fuck, dude, it looks hella good. All right, so brighten this up again. We're gonna go ahead and do that shadow effect that I told you guys. For this one, we're gonna shoot straight like that. There you go. Something like that. Bring this down a little bit so the darks are coming down. All right, that's already looking pretty good. Let me fix it just a little more. Make it a little more dark at the bottom. What? Dude, that looks hella sick. All right, bet. There we go. I like it. You guys can see up close. That looks really good. Dude, that Sony just does miracles, bro. I mean, look at that. That sharpness, bro. That's insane. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I like it. That's awesome. That's pretty much how I edit my photos real quick to go on Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, just so you guys can see. Again, my editing process is pretty simple, to the point. I just barely tweak stuff. It's taking me a while to create my presets till I personally like them. So I already know how I'm gonna shoot the car, whether it's overexposed, underexposed, all that stuff. I know how my 3 presets will affect the color, the sharpening, highlights, all that good stuff. I already know ahead of time. So that's why right now you saw me just tweak them quick and easy style. Again, when it comes to clientele work, I will take more time. But as for this, if I want to quickly upload something, you guys just saw like it's straight boom, boom, hella easy, quick to the point. So nothing tricky, nothing crazy about it. It's just straight little edits, little tweaking and stuff like that. I'm still working on the presets to fix them up a little more. I got little tweaks I gotta obviously tweak on them a little bit. I understand that most of you guys are here for the S2000 and stuff, but as a creative, at least I like to think I'm a creative, I'm gonna go ahead and add more like technical stuff for like how I edit videos, photos, more of my gear and stuff like that. I'm gonna do my best to upload more about that. That being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I will go ahead and see you guys in the next one. Deuces.